Greetings and welcome back to this next installment of Bible Topics that make you say, hmm. And I'm Robin Sweet Ransom. All right, today's topic is being brought to you by special request. My sister told me that someone that we both know has become a Black Israelite. So she wanted to know more about it and asked if I would do some research. So this lesson is going to be longer than normal because I'm doing more than just going to the scriptures, but I'm actually doing some research about an organization I don't know anything about. I have seen these people out there preaching. So the question is, are Black Israelites for real? Are they really Christians? Should we become a Black Israelite? Especially if you're a Black person, right? It's very interesting the way they're dressed. They sort of look like they're in costume. I like this color here. So what's going on there with them? So I did a little research by way of Wikipedia. I know that's not a very scholarly tool, but I like that Wikipedia. It keeps things nice and simple. But if there are any Black Israelites out there that will care to educate us more, please drop some information into the chat box. So, the origins of the Black Hebrew Israelite movement, I'm going to talk about what they believe, are found in Frank Cherry and William Saunders Crowdy, who both claim that they have revelations in which they believe that God told them that African Americans are descendants of the Hebrews in the Christian Bible. Okay. Cherry taught that the Talmud was authoritative, that Jesus would return in the year 2000, and in a square earth surrounded by three layers of heaven. Did you know that the earth was supposed to end, the world was supposed to end in 2000? Yeah, we were all there for it. Y2K didn't happen. The playing of the piano and the collection of tithes during Black Hebrew Israelite worship was forbidden by Cherry. I don't know why about the piano, but I'm sure a lot of you could get with the no tithes, right? And the whole square earth thing, I don't know, maybe they get that because the Bible and Revelation talks about the four corners of the earth. I don't know. Interesting. The Church of God and Saints of Christ, originating in Kansas, retained elements of a messianic connection to Jesus. Another early key figure was William Christian. The pioneers of the movement were Freemasons, and it was strongly influenced by Masonic traditions. I know that there are a lot of Christians who are Masons, and the deeper you go into the Masons, they are not a Christian organization. In fact, when you become a 33rd degree Mason, you know the secrets and you know that it's demonic by that point. I think that the common people don't know as much. So there's that. And when you look back at the way they're addressed, it kind of makes you think of some Masonic overtones and so forth, the weapons and all of that. I've I've been to a Masonic temple that was turned into a museum, and it's really interesting how they have set things set up, how they dress, and I believe I saw a small axe, a couple weapons, whatever. It's just interesting. Some sects of the Black Hebrew Israelite movement employ street preaching, we've seen that, to promote their ideology. Sidewalk ministers may employ provocation, like they want to get you excited and say stuff that make you stop in your tracks. Maybe you want to argue with them to advance a message that is often anti-Semitic, racist, and xenophobic. This primarily gained notice in the news through their street preaching that purportedly targeted students of Covington Catholic High School in Kentucky in January 2019. One student reported that extremist Black Hebrew Israelites called students racist, bigots, white crackers, faggots, and incest kids, and told an African American student that his white classmates would harvest his organs. Scary. They believe that Jews are devilish impostors and openly condemn whites as evil personified, deserving only death or slavery, like how they treated us. They celebrate Jewish rituals and observe the Sabbath. They believe in polygamy, and each man can have up to 7 wives per man. I hope they're taking care of these women and not expecting the women to take care of them. Because in the Bible, the men could have as many wives as they could take care of, when polygamy was tolerated. So this is interesting. So I did a study on the Synagogue of Satan. I'll remember to put a link to it in that. And so what they're saying is that the Jews who claim that they're Jews in Israel are fake Jews, Synagogue of Satan. Shay Rashan, and I'm not saying I agree with them. If you look at my synagogue video, you'll see that. Shay Rashan, a Black Orthodox Jewish writer and activist, has stated that the mainstream normative Black Jewish community is distinct from the Black Hebrew Israelite movement, and that Black Hebrew Israelites do not share the same identity, community, or issues as Black Jews. Rashan objects to the erasure of Black Jews, saying that Black Hebrew Israelites are not a denomination of Judaism and that the two communities are commonly confused or conflated, but should not be. And I will say this, for the Black Jews or Black Israelites, those who are Jewish by their Jewish traditions as well as their genealogy, their genetic genealogy, they're not always accepted over there in Israel. In fact, they're trying to get them out of there. So Israel is a racist country. And I said it, and I mean what I said. And it's sad. They're not alone. America's a racist country. All the nations on earth are racist in some form or fashion, so they're not unique. And it's not anti-Semitic to say what the truth is. Numbers 12, 1 through 6. Miriam and Aaron began to talk against Moses because of his Cushite wife. Why am I talking about this? It may seem out of place, but I'm going to lay the foundation for the belief that the Jews are Black Jews. Moses was married to a Cushite woman, and it's common knowledge that if you were called Cushite, it meant you were Black. And Aaron and Miriam had a problem with that. So if they were the same race, they may not have had a problem with it. They might have just disliked her because they disliked her. But it doesn't even call out her name. It calls her a Cushite wife, like that was the problem. And let's see how the Lord felt about them being racist towards her or prejudiced against her. Has the Lord spoken only through Moses, they say? He can't even marry right. Hasn't he also spoken through us? And the Lord heard this. Now, Moses was a very humble man, more humble than anyone else on the face of the earth. Wow, that's humble. So he wasn't going to speak up for himself. At once the Lord took up for Moses. He said, Moses, Aaron, and Miriam, come on out to the tent of meeting, all three of you. He might as well call them by their first, middle, and last name. So the three of them went out. Then the Lord came down in a pillar of a cloud. So the presence of the Lord was shown by this cloud over the tent of meeting. So he told them to come on, step into my office. He stood at the entrance to the tent and summoned Aaron and Miriam. When the two of them stepped forward, he said, listen to my words. And they couldn't even see him, but they could hear him. When there is a prophet among you, I, the Lord, reveal myself to them in visions. I speak to them in dreams. So they asked the question, has the Lord only spoken through Moses? No, he's speaking to y'all right now. Do you like what he's saying? But that is not true of my servant Moses. He is faithful in all my house. With him, I speak face to face, clearly, not in riddles. He sees the form of the Lord. Why then were you not afraid to speak against my servant Moses? The anger of the Lord burned against them, and he left them. Ooh, like they got close to getting killed. So what was God proving here? He does not tolerate prejudice, racial prejudice. So are Black Israelites for real? Well, they encourage racial prejudice. Is God okay with that? He's not okay with the white people who've done it either. He's not okay with anybody who does it. And this is God standing up for a Black woman. I love it. Standing up for Moses, her husband. And who knows, maybe she didn't really know how they truly felt. Maybe they talked behind her back. I'd rather you tell me how you feel about me to my face than smile in my face and talk behind my back. Those are the worst kind. Anyway, sidebar, my daughter, her and her friend call her Moses because she says she feels like she hears God very clearly. And I'm like, she said, Mama, God talked to Moses like that. I said, I maybe talked to him like that. But then I did this study today and I'm like, oh, I guess he did talk to him like that, very clearly. So anyway, Verse 10, when the cloud lifted from above the tent, Miriam's skin was leprous and became as white as snow. Aaron turned toward her and saw that she had a defiling skin disease. And I will say this, if Miriam was already very white, I don't think that the leprosy would have showed up so much. So I think she already had color, probably looked more Middle Eastern. I don't know. But, she wasn't the traditional white you see. All right. That's my thinking on it. I don't know. Aaron turned toward her and saw that she had a defiling skin disease. And he said to Moses, please, my Lord, I ask you not to hold against us the sin we have so foolishly committed. Do not let her be like a stillborn infant coming from his mother's womb with his flesh half eaten away. So Aaron is turning to Moses, the baby brother, and calling him Lord. Okay, help us, help us. And I'll say this, there's racial prejudice even between Black people, different tribes or whatever. So I don't know, maybe Moses, Aaron, and Miriam were Black. I don't know. I don't get dogmatic on that. I just don't. But he lived in an Egyptian household. He fit in with the rest of them, and the Egyptians from that day were darker skin. They don't look like they do today. But then again, America doesn't look like it did when the Native Americans were in control. So populations can change the color of the land, so to speak. So what we don't want to do is get so hung up on color that it matters so much that we are now prejudiced against others and dogmatic about feeling like, just like white people whiteatize the entire Bible. We don't want to blackatize the entire Bible. That's wrong too. Let's go to Numbers chapter 12, verses 13 through 15. So Moses cried out to the Lord, please, God, heal her. Heal my big sister. She didn't mean it. She was just ignorant. The Lord replied to Moses, if her father had spit in her face, would she not have been a disgrace for 7 days? Confine her outside the camp for 7 days. After that, she can be brought back in. So Miriam was confined outside the camp for 7 days, and the people did not move on until she was brought back. I bet she never made that mistake again, turning against her brother. But why didn't Aaron get in trouble? He always seemed to get out of trouble. I guess he was just weak-minded, and God felt like he only did what someone told him to do. But Miriam was the oldest, and she probably led the discontent against Moses and his wife. And so God proved to her, I ain't messing with you, girl. And if Moses hadn't begged me to turn your skin back to normal, you would have been that way for the rest of your life and unable to associate with anybody. So get it together. Now we're going to go to 1 Kings chapter 10 and talk about another Black person in the Bible. Why am I doing this? Because the Black Israelites have a point that Blacks had a prominent place in the Bible. When the Queen of Sheba heard about the fame of Solomon and his relationship to the Lord, she came to test Solomon with hard questions. Arriving at Jerusalem with a very great caravan with camels carrying spices, large quantities of gold and precious stones, she came to Solomon and talked with him about all that she had on her mind. Solomon answered all her questions. Nothing was too hard for the king to explain to her. She said to the king, the report I heard in my own country about your achievements and your wisdom is true, but I did not believe these things until I came and saw them with my very own eyes. Indeed, not even half was told me. In wisdom and wealth, you have far exceeded the report I heard. King Solomon gave the Queen of Sheba all she desired and asked for, besides what he had given her out of his royal bounty. Then she left and returned with her retinue to her own country. I was speaking that way because the Ethiopians believe that the Queen of Sheba had sex with him on this trip and became pregnant. And King Haile Selassie from Ethiopia was believed to be the second coming of Christ, and it is believed that he came out of that connection between Sheba, the Queen of Sheba, and Solomon. And by the way, Sheba is not her name. And I don't know what the modern day version of Sheba is, because I know in the Bible, Ethiopia had its own name. So in any event, and the Rastafarians, worship King Haile Selassie because they believe that he was God. And I don't know if the Black Israelites believe that or not. I didn't see that in my research, but there's, just worthy of note. There are Black Jews, people. So are Black Israelites for real? God's view on race, and does he agree with the Black Israelites? Well, first of all of us come from Adam and Eve, and no race is superior. So he doesn't agree with them there. Blacks are in the Bible. He agrees with them there. And so therefore, no doubt Black Jews exist. The Black Israelite ideology denies the deity of Christ. Even if they believe him as a great prophet, they don't believe he's God, and they're off there. What makes any human superior is Christ, not race. It may feel good to be a Black Israelite and feel superior as a Black person after we've been put down for so long. Just like with the Nation of Islam, I'm sure that feels good. And we need to be built up, but we don't want to become like the enemy that you've grown to hate. To love God, we must love our neighbors. We need to get rid of the love. So he disagrees with the Black Israelites there. 1 John 4:20 and 21 says, how can you say you love your brother whom you can see? How can you say that you love God who you cannot see, but don't love your brother who you do see? God can empower us to reject racial divisiveness and embrace unity like these beautiful babies here. Aren't they gorgeous? All colors. God made the human race, not just the Black race, not just the white race. God, although we tend to be the two most prominent races that are warring against each other, God made the human race in his image. I love this picture right here. There's only one race, the human race. I love like he's holding a baby, like this is my buddy right here. He matters to me. I love this, all the different races here, the human race. Humanity should be our race. Love should be our religion. Amen to that. The kids can teach us so much, can't they? So God created man in his own image. He created him in the image of God. He created them, male and female. God blessed them, and God said to them, be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth, and subdue it. And I thought of this, that's Genesis 1, 27, 28a. It takes man and woman to be the image of God. The man has the strength and the power, willing to war, and the woman has the nurturing side. She can produce life and sustain life. It takes us both together. All right, Tamika, I hope you're pleased with this lesson on the Black Israelites. So are they for real? Are they really for real believe what they believe? But are they in harmony with Scripture? I'll let you judge for yourself. All right, join me next time on Bible topics that make you say, and let me know if there's something you want me to research, and I will do that for you.